Good morning and welcome back to A Life Worth Living. I'm Frederick Groth and I believe that God has a plan and purpose for everyone. I have a message of hope and truth to show you a life worth living. This morning we are in Numbers chapter 34. And in this chapter God lays out the border of the land of Israel, the area which Israel would take over and dwell in. Now, what does this have to do with success? Well, there's a couple issues in here that are very important for us to understand. Initially, God had promised them from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, from Syria to Egypt, basically in that area. But the 2.5 tribes, half the tribe of Manasseh and the other 2 tribes, they asked to be on the outside of Jordan River in the land of Og and Sihon, kings of that they had taken over. Now, I find it interesting to note that God allowed them these areas. So it would seem that God had an initial area for them to start with, but there was an allowance for growth and expansion. And so let's apply this to our principles of success here today. We all have a place. We all have a purpose. We all have something God wants to give us, a promise, if you will. And it is up to us to fill that area and to expand it or contract it. It's up to us to move into that promise. It's up to us to utilize it to its best ability. It's up to us to take the opportunities that are presented to ourselves. It's up to us to make that promise the best it can be. God has the promise for us. He gives the promise to us, but He leaves it up to us in order to either make it bigger or make it smaller. There's a parable in the New Testament that kind of goes along with this, and that is the parable of the talents, where the king gives several servants some money and says, take this while I'm gone on this journey and use it. The first one was given 1 bag of money, the second one was given 2 bags of money, and the third one was given 5 bags of money. And each of them did whatever they wanted with the money. They were not given boundaries as to what to do with it. They were given boundaries as to how much they started with. And so when the king returned, he asked an account of what was done with the money. The fifth one, they started with the last. He said, I invested the money and I doubled my money. So now I have 10 bags of money. Same with the second. I doubled my money. Now I have 4 bags of money. First one, he said, well, I knew that you were the kind of king that doesn't care, and you take this from that one, and so on and so forth. He went through this whole spiel, and he said, I just buried the money, and here it is back. And the king said this, I will take what I gave to you and give it to somebody else. So he took the bag of money and gave it to the one that had now 10 bags of money. See, the principle is this. If you will take what God has given you and you will use it and you will invest it into productivity, into prosperity, into helping others, into serving the rest of mankind, it will grow. But if you choose to hold on to it, and you choose to neglect the fact that you have something of worth that God gave you in order to serve the rest of humanity, and you hold on to it and you do nothing with it, it is likely you will lose it. So let us make an effort, make a covenant, if you will, make a promise to ourselves that what I figure out what God has given me to do with my life, I will prosper it. And in the meantime, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, as the Word of God says. So, get up, go, live a life worth living, and become someone who prospers in what he does, or she does. Because without that, you will lose it. God bless.